I'm at the Chengdu train station here. So remember, Chengdu, yeah, like it's not Sheboygan, but it's not Beijing. Like it's not the most major city in China. It's mostly known for the panda breeding center. It's cool. Like I'm not putting it down. My point is, look at this train station. Look at the train station. Look at it. Look at this. The New York City train station, I think, is really not at this level. It's not this level. And they just rebuilt it. They just rebuilt Penn Station, and it's not at this level. Now, of course, Grand Central, it's a beautiful old architectural treasure, so it's not going to be a modern building like this. It's one of the most beautiful train stations in the world, if not the most beautiful train station in the world. But if you want to look at like what we're doing in terms of modern infrastructure, well, they just rebuilt Penn Station. It's not like this. It's not at this scale. And look at the floors. Look how clean the floors are. When I get back to New York, I'm gonna film Penn Station for you to show you the difference. So when I've posted things like this while I've been here, showing the cities and the lights, people want to say it's just light. No, it's not just lights, man. Look at this. It's infrastructure. It's real infrastructure. And yes, have I traveled into the deepest depths of the interior of China? No, but I keep filming out the window of the train. People in my group are probably getting pissed because, with my New York aggressiveness, I always snag a window seat. But it's really to shoot content. I want people to see what it looks like out there because, yeah, I'm not going out into the heartland. Although I am going all the way to Urumqi. Like, I am going away from the main, little tourist circuit here between Beijing and Hong Kong. It's kind of a loop. That's what this group tour I'm on does. But I keep filming out in the middle of nowhere between the major cities. I will show you when I drop the footage. There's not a pothole out there. It's not a pothole in the middle of nowhere. Farm country. You can see it's farm country. You see straight, perfect, pristine roads. That is just a fact. That is just a fact. That is completely independent and apart from whatever views you have about China or the Chinese system, or whether it's communism, whether it's capitalism, whatever you think about that. It is inarguable that, as one Chinese poster said in a video that Kim Iverson popularized, we used it in a couple of segments about China. America made money from the trade relationship with China, and China made money from the trade relationship with America. China put its money into building the country. You can see that very clearly that that's where their money went. And you can see that in other things I've shot that'll be on both Due Dissidents and on Russ on the Road. We gave tax cuts to billionaires, and they became multi-billionaires and centi-billionaires and quinti-billionaires. Is that a word? I'm going for 500 billion. Is that a word? That's what resulted from that. And you drive around America, and as our president said when he was appealing to the working class and lying to them about what he was going to do for them, it's carnage. That part was absolutely right. It is carnage out there. When you take a train in America and you take a train in China, it's night and day. I've taken trains in America recently to upstate New York, from New York City to Buffalo, from New York to DC. And what did they put close into train tracks? Mining towns, right? They put the train tracks there because the mines were there. And then because the tracks were there and the mines were there, the factory towns sprung up around these areas. So you go, you take a train through America, it's carnage. It's carnage. It's all crumbling factories, depopulated towns, meth addicted people wandering around abandoned buildings. That's what you see all over America when you take a train. You take a train in China. Even in farm country, the infrastructure is perfect. The farms, they look clean. I don't know how you make a farm look clean. The farms look clean. Perfect lines, perfect roads, not a rut, not a pothole, not anything, man. It's that's the reality. I would not tell you that if it were not true. Now, you have people who have been brainwashed, who make claims about China that they really can't back up. Oh, there are 50 million homeless. All right, can you prove that to me? Because do you see any homeless? Because I promise you, when I go back to New York, I will find you 10 homeless people in 2 minutes if I shoot a video like this walking through Penn Station. 2 minutes. You're going to see 10. So where are they? If they're 50 million homeless running around China, where are they? I don't see them. I haven't seen them anywhere. I've been to Shanghai, I've been to Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu, MA, Lashan. Where are they? How could there be 50 million if they're this invisible that you can't see them? Now, somebody told me, a Chinese person told me, they really don't have homeless, and that doesn't really even have to do with the communism. It has to do with the culture. Everyone has relatives. They have a sense of family and community here. So they just wouldn't leave their relative homeless, like you're going to go live with your relatives. So yeah, there's no way that you have that kind of homelessness, and I haven't seen it in all the places I've been. And I'm someone who likes to explore, walk around a lot, go into side streets. I haven't seen it at all. And again, you can litigate the system, but most of the things that people say about China, even if it were true, you could triple say it about the United States. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, people bring it up as if it's like an own, or it proves that the American system works better. Like, how are you going to be an American and say, well, what about all the homeless? Point that finger back at yourself. What are you talking about? Look at all the homeless. Dude, did you see the video that just came out in, I think it was Louisville, where they literally dumped an old woman on the street who couldn't pay, like rolled her out of the hospital in a wheelchair, dumped her on the street and threw a blanket over her? Did you see that? I didn't see that in China. I saw that in America. Now I know if you saw that in China, you guys would be all, you know what they do? They throw them out in the street. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they do in America. You want to say, well, there are places where the workers work long hours and live in substandard housing. Again, even if that's true, and it could be in parts of China that I haven't seen, I fully concede that could be true. If you're an American, you're really, that's the argument you want to make, that they got overworked factory workers living in substandard housing. You want to make that argument? We got Amazon workers pissing in bottles because they don't have enough time to walk to the bathroom on their break, being algorithmically driven by an AI cracker in the original sense of the word, with the whip, cracking the whip. They got an AI overseer making sure that they don't spend an extra 20 seconds to pee. You got workers living in their cars all over the country. You're going to talk about that as a characteristic of China? As an American? What are you even talking about? And I'm not conceding that any of that's true. It could be. But is that an argument you can make as an American, that that's a problem with their... Okay, well then that's a problem with our system. And you know what? Our system doesn't give you anything. Doesn't give you health care. Has crumbling infrastructure, has carcinogenic factories everywhere. You got a whole section of New Orleans called Cancer Alley. Now, some of what I will say is possible is that China, in its push to industrialize and to modernize the country and to make a better world for everybody, is willing to go through a coal phase that's unhealthy, in order to get to a solar phase. And if some people have to suffer to get there, that is for the good of the collective, so it's justified. What I've picked up of the political thinking here, I could definitely see that. We do the same thing. You have a bunch of people dying in Cancer Alley, black people, by the way, mostly. And what do they get? Nothing. The purpose of it is not some kind of ends justify the means in order to create a more prosperous and healthy future for the whole of society. And this is a sacrifice this generation is going to have to make in order to get to a future generation that has clean energy, as China is moving toward at a very rapid rate, by the way. But you do see coal plants as you're going along. Some of the cities do have bad air, but they are making a lot of strides forward. We're willing to sacrifice people for profit. There's no greater motive than that. We're willing to sacrifice people so that rich people can get richer. That's the only reason you have Cancer Alley. It's not, well, we're going to go through a Cancer Alley phase in order to get to a solar village phase and it's going to be better for everybody. No, it's not about that. You know that. It's about getting rich people richer. Who is benefiting from our system? Elon Musk. What is Elon Musk? A Nazi. A Nazi. His grandfather was part of a cult that wanted to create the technate, basically a technocracy run by engineers. You don't think that's what Elon is trying to do? He sees himself as that superior person. That's what capitalism pushed to the top of the heap. A Nazi, a literal Nazi, because capitalism inherently leads into fascism. It just does. Does that mean this is utopia? No, there's no, humans can't create utopia. That's what I believe. I don't think humans are capable of utopia. Do I believe that this system is starting from a first principle that the purpose of government is to improve life for all of its citizens, and that they do hold before them a communist ideal of reaching a future without want, where everybody is provided for? Yeah, I mean, based on what I've seen, that guiding philosophy is very evident. Pointing out there's this corrupt Chinese official or that thing happened. Again, I point you to Exhibit A, B, C, and D. They didn't steal that money. They could have. Our oligarchs stole the money. They made the money. They stole the money. Look at what they did. They did this. So at that point, you have to take seriously the claim that they see their purpose as a government as building a society that places people and their well-being first. That is just a very different philosophy. It's a very different approach to government. It's a very different way of educating people. When you go to parks, and they're called the People's Park, which I've seen twice now in China, that is educating your young people, and it's educating your society to see parks as belonging to the people, and more than that, as being created by the people. Now, what does Rockefeller Center tell you? What does Roosevelt Park tell you? It tells you that public spaces have to be created by rich people, that you should be thankful for the largesse of Carnegie for creating libraries and Carnegie Hall. How does that make you think? If you're idealistic, well, it makes you think that you have to become an oligarch to help people. And that's, what Bill Gates reinforces, the Gates Foundation, right? What does it turn out Gates is doing? Hanging out with Epstein. All that stuff is just a cover. But that brainwashes you into thinking, when you walk into Rockefeller Center, what does that tell you mentally? To get a park, you need rich people to donate money. And even if the park is a public park named after a rich person, and the rich person didn't personally fund it, It's telling you that those are the people you should admire and respect. You're not going to see that in China. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference in terms of what kind of a society you have and what people's ideals are. Arguing that China doesn't live up to the ideal of communism, that's not an argument. That's not an argument. I think most communists would say that the ideal of communism under current material circumstances is not possible. This is a phase of all before. That having been said, and this is something that we'll talk more about when I come home, the way that China has done this would not work in America. We're too individualistic. A lot of communists recognize that and they curse it, the cult of individualism. All right, well, you know, man, you might as well curse at clay for not being oil paint, right? Try to make a painting with it. It's not going to work. Americans are not like Chinese people. They have 5,000-year-old civilization with an emphasis on community and family ties. That is very fruitful soil to create a society based on the collective good and collective action and not placing oneself above the good of the group. America does not have that culture. That's quite the opposite culture. It is very much a culture of competitiveness and everyone for themselves. Just like they say socialism with Chinese characteristics, you're going to have to figure that out. If you want to do something like that in America, you're going to have to figure out socialism with American characteristics and what that means. You can't try to stamp this model onto America, and I think most Chinese people would agree with that. It just wouldn't work. We have a very different culture. Our culture needs to be fixed. It's not good. It's unhealthy, and it's just getting more toxic all the time. But you also have to think about how you would do a real socialism that provides for its people, where the whole culture, the whole society, the whole economy is not being run on behalf of oligarchs. You're going to have to figure out how to do that in an American context, and in the course of doing that, you're also going to have to fix the whole culture. You're going to have to fix the way Americans think. That's a tall order.